Tennessee fans set Ohio State off and put them in motion to want to go on a blowout run in this tournament. Now, that doesn't mean Ohio State wasn't good enough to win it all anyway. That doesn't mean they wouldn't have beaten Tennessee anyway. But what happened with the Tennessee takeover of the Horseshoe, I think, added massive amounts of fuel to an already lit fire with what happened in Michigan and Ryan Day being on the hot seat. So let's recap what actually happened. Ohio State loses to Michigan, a fourth straight year. They get into a fight at midfield because Michigan wants to plant the flag at the midfield logo. An Ohio State legislature member wants to pass a law banning flag planting at midfield of stadiums after games. Everybody's laughing at Ohio State. Then the playoff starts. First take, and everybody's like, Ryan Day's got to win a natty or he's fired. Not like go far. He's got to win a natty.
Which is so absurd. I mean, what if you get to the national championship game and you lose on a last-second field goal? Well, you're out, Ryan.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, he's got to win a natty. The players are the best. They're the best players in the country. They rally behind their coach. Amidst all this happening, the week of the game, what happens? The Tennessee takeover happens. Players are already trying to get hyped up to play behind their coach, and they see Tennessee fans saying, we're going to take over the Horseshoe. Ohio State fans literally are like, please come take over the Horseshoe. We don't want to watch our team play because we're so mad at them for losing to Michigan. Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork comes out and says, guys, please don't let Tennessee fans take over the Horseshoe. The day of the game happens, and everybody's like, look at all these Tennessee fans here. Kirk Herbstreit said it was an insane road presence. Kickoff happens. 41% of the stadium is Tennessee fans. 41% of the stadium. More people from Tennessee bought tickets on the resale market than people from Ohio. Even though Ohio is a bigger state and the game was in Ohio. They see all of that. They're already angry with everything that happened. You don't think that hacked them off even more and made them say, we want to not just play for our coach, play to show up all the media that's turned on us, and play to make them night miserable for all these Tennessee fans that showed up. They want to show up the fans who willingly turned on them during that game when they know they have the best players in the country. That set them off. And by the way, and I'm not done on this because there's one person, because Kirk Herbstreit last night confirmed it, Dave, and I just want to point this out. Last night, and I got the exact quote. They were talking about this. Chris Fowler said that frigid night against Tennessee when the volunteer fans tried to take over the Horseshoe, that began the run. And then Kirk responded, I think that was the turning point as far as the psychological aspect of this team. Looking up in their stadium and seeing all that orange, I think they got back to that locker room. From what Ryan Day and a lot of the players have told me, they basically drew a line in the sand from that moment on. When they won that game, they restored their confidence and belief that, hey, we can go on a run here, and they've come together. You either split apart when you go through something like that, or you come together. And they've definitely come together. The floor is yours.
You make a great argument, and obviously Kirk Herbstreit, who got a little emotional last night about the Buckeyes winning the national championship, has insight that nobody else has. Basically, trust me, when you have ESPN next to your name and you call and ask for an interview, you typically get it. And especially if you're Kirk Herbstreit, which is a whole nother level, he knows as much about that program as probably Ryan Day. So anything that comes out of his mouth is absolutely golden and truth when it comes to Ohio State. I had not heard that quote, so I'm flip-flopping completely. I'm on your side. I think it was a major factor. I just changed live here. What spurred Ohio State's run is a poll question, just simple desire, which they started the season with, the Michigan game, or Tennessee fans in the Horseshoe. Right now, Michigan game, 53%. Tennessee fans in the Horseshoe, 27%, which I'm now a part of. Just simple desire to be a championship team, 20%. So, Caleb, you got me. I think that you flipped me before, but not on anything that I felt pretty strongly about coming in. I hadn't heard the Herbstreit quote. So, right now, the Michigan game, 53%. Tennessee fans in the Horseshoe, 27%. Just simple desire, 20%. And a couple of things that Tennessee did that probably also it wasn't the best idea. There was talk about in all Waffle Houses in Columbus play Rocky Top. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
I saw
Okay.
that.
And feel free to pile on if you've got one as well. Not wearing the shirts. I don't know whose idea that was, but that's basically a middle finger to the other home team. Now, if you do that at home, it's different. And let's say you're playing Southern California and they come to your place and it's freezing. Let's say it's in Knoxville and they're used to warm weather and you go out there with no shirt, then it looks different. It feels different. It's like, this is our home. We're the cold weather team. Stick it Trojans. Sounds weird. All right. So, but the way it turned out, it just seemed like a flipping the bird to Ohio State fans and Ohio State's team. And listen, I love Tennessee's fan base and I love the passion of it, but sometimes it goes too far. I thought it went too far, for instance, with the Greg Schiano stuff, but as it worked out, they didn't hire him, and I thought it would have been a terrible hire for way different reasons that were out there. So there are times where Tennessee's fan base, you right there, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but there are times that Tennessee's fan base is so passionate that it works against them because of social media. And I'm not telling you to back off, because that same passion makes you buy tickets. That same passion makes you make donations. So I'm not suggesting anyone back off. And I'm sure other schools have fans that adversely affect them via social media as well. It just is what it is. And the Buckeyes handled it in a professional manner, took it the right way. And before you know it, that game's pretty much over. So, yeah, Tennessee absolutely via social media, with the shirts off, with everything that happened leading up to that game, buying up tickets, I think added some motivation to Ohio State's fire.
And I want to say this, major kudos to Ohio State's mental toughness, because Kurt's right. That can tear a team apart or bring them together, because it's twofold. We all watched The Last Dance. How many times did Michael Jordan take something personal and it set him off and then he just went off, right? He did that all the time.
A lot.
As you know, Dave, though, there are other people that are built differently that they would wilt beneath the pressure, wouldn't they? Yes. One of the most notable NBA series I ever watched was the year the Pistons won it. They beat the Pacers as the underdog in a 6-game series. I'll never forget Rasheed Wallace saying, Indiana's not going to win game 2. We can't let them win game 2 if we're going to win this series. So we're not going to let them win game 2. Don't worry. And Indiana went and lost that game. How do you wilt beneath that pressure? Indiana freaked out when Rasheed Wallace was like, nope, we got them. So taking that into account, I think Ohio State was the reverse. They clearly were mentally tough enough to say, we're going to come together. Excuse me. And they did. And it worked out. And it part of that is somewhat coaching to keep your team together. I mean, when pressure mounted on Tennessee in the past, during the Butch Jones years, they wilted. And so I think that when you come together and when you have the right mentality, when you let these things motivate you and bring you together, and you have the most talent in the country, you're going to steamroll everybody. And that's what they did.